Dear Venerable Sisters and Brothers, Dhamma Friends, we are now going to take time for the day's Dhamma talk. May everyone settle down for the talk and give the consent with 3 times. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Namo tasse bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhasse. Namo tasse bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhasse. Namo tasse bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhasse. Katami tayo dhamma pahatabba tisso tanhati ti. Dear Venerables, Dhamma friends, we are dealing along this subject of tanha, the craving, and in this particular presentation itself, the tanha is presented as 3 facets, in 3 facets. The kama tanha, bhava tanha, vibhava tanha, they are lying according to the grossness. The kama tanha is the most obvious, very prominent and gross. And with respect to that kama tanha, bhava tanha is somewhat hidden and somewhat subtle. And so much so, vibhava tanha very difficult to trace. But once the kama tanha, bhava tanha fairly tackled, with that qualification, you can go for this very subtle vibhava tanha, and therefore it's a kind of a replacement. The gross tanha, the kama tanha, one has to replace by the bhava tanha. That means the big craving we replace with the little craving. So in this justification, still we are appreciating a craving. With respect to the big, gross, conspicuous craving, we have to take refuge of a subtle craving and make sure it is not a big one. And once that is go there, when you go there and get the settlement, get the mastery, familiarity, then you can see this side is you have already left or already kept aside the gross gross tanha, the craving, and now we are still in a craving, and it is better in this sense, because it is not so gross, it is not so creating troubles, and while you observe, you can see there's another one, now you are yet to understand, it's more subtle. So in the middle area, while you are in the bhava tanha, you are aware of this is kama tanha, this is vibhava tanha, and still you are in a stress. Still you are in a frustration. Still you are in a burning situation. Still you are in torturing situation. But you can see the picture now. Earlier you see only the kama tanha, you have never experienced bhava tanha, and yet to understand the very subtle, the tendencies almost hidden. But when you come to the bhava tanha instead, you can understand with the effort, with your successful effort, how much you gotten rid of this kama tanha, but it is not a permanent relief. Temporarily you are away, and that is how you make sure you are in bhava tanha now. And that you have to maintain. What you maintain is a suffering. And you are maintaining is a frustration. A torturing thing, but lesser than kama tanha, and still being there you can see, still a subtle part is there, unless otherwise you come up to this level, you can't see the total picture. So therefore bhava tanha, in a way, useful in order to pivot off, push off kama tanha, but by itself it is not pure. It is relative pure, because it is not so gross. So that in order to explain it, we may be making use a term, it's a kind of healthy ego. You have to take refuge. With the help of the healthy ego, only you get rid of the ego layers one after the other. So, that does not indicate you accepting ego, but you have to understand, even at least in a perceptual level, we are dealing with self-centered life. So therefore, instead, we introduce a healthy kind of ego and then try to come into the healthy ego and see, still you are in trouble, still you are in tension, still you are in frustration, still you are burning, but now you use it, the healthy one, and see the uncontrolled and virulent kind of tanna is gone, because now you are in a healthy ego, and that healthy ego will be replaced by another subtle one, and it will be replaced by a still subtler one, and that is also you do away with. So that kind of a formula you find in the Pottapada Sutta. It is in Digha Nikaya, and everything is explained in terms of perception. So the Buddha, while explaining this perception, sanya, the Pottapada himself asked, Bhante, it is sanya is the soul, or it is your ego, or not? Is sanya separate or ego is separate? Then the Buddha is asking, in this context, what do you mean by ego? Then he says, ego is this corporeal body. It is maintained by these 4 eatable, chewable, gross food, and made out of 4 elements. Then the Buddha says, if it is the ego, sanya is different, ego is different. Then in the same discussion, the Pottapada is asking, he's another leader in another sect. Luckily the Buddha and him is talking under the subject of perception. Then I am sorry, Bhante, it is not the ego what I mean. What I mention is manomaya ego. It is a subtle body, and you have all the shadow of the body and all the organs like, but only the shadow you have. It is astral kind of this thing. That is what I call ego. Then the Buddha says, if you define the ego like that, that is not perception. Perception, this ego is different. Then he says, no, I am here. I would like to say it is the 2 things I have represented is wrong. Presented is, I am talking about completely subtle matter and only the perception available, and that is what I call ego. Then there also the Buddha is saying, if you are defining the ego like that, perception is different, ego is different. And then the Pottapada is asking, but can I understand this ego and the relationship with the sanya? Then Buddha says, I am sorry, you can't. You are utterly in the wrong view. A person like you teaching like this kind of thing and having disciples and preaching never can think about understanding the ego, what you say. And luckily, there was a disciple of Pottapada, and this happened when the Buddha is given a visit to Pottapada's temple or Pottapada's monastery. And the disciple, he gets some ideas. Then there's a lot of episodes and a lot of things happen. And he says, Pottapada, you see the last discussion, abruptly we stop it. And the Buddha went for his alms rounds. Would you mind to go there and have continuity of this discussion? 2-3 days time, Pottapada and that particular disciple, Hattisari Putta, go to the Buddha, and then he says, the way I understand Bhante, now the disciple is talking. Whenever we have the karma loka or the materialistic world, we are full of sense pleasure. If you wish to get an answer for that, or to how to get rid of this tanha, the sense pleasure, he says we have to take refuge of this olarika attapatilaga. You have to take refuge of your body. As far as you be mindful on your body, here and now, you can do away with gross level of kama tanha. So, in order to get rid of kama tanha, that is the sense pleasure, you have to accept this healthy ego, the body as ego. The gross body as ego, it is being expressed as, it is fed by the materialistic food, tangible food, and 4 elements. So the moment you accept to as the opening balance, the body as your ego, try to keep your full attention with your ego, the pointed ego, the healthy ego. Body is myself. And I try my best to understand it, so I try to focus to the body. Whenever it is sitting, I understand I am sitting. When I am walking, I understand I am walking. When I stand still, I understand I am standing. When I am lying down, I know, so much so, as far as your mindfulness, your perception is limited to your body, you have fairly done away with your kama tanha. But the bhava tanha is remaining, vibhava tanha is remaining. So first and foremost effort must be to have kaya anupassana, be attentive to your own body. The moment you successful, if it is a momentary kind of be here and now, it is called tadanga nibbhuti. Then and there you are giving kind of an answer to this perpetuated tanha temporarily. Imagine you can keep it for 2 seconds, 2 split seconds, 3 split seconds, 2, 3 breaths, 4, 5 breaths, 2, 3 rising and falling, 4, 5 rising and falling, 2, 3 steps, 4, 5 steps like. Now you experience the continuity chronologically, how to keep your body, how to keep your attention within the body, or limit your perception to your body. Whenever that is being successful, you take your body as your primary object and try to keep the attention there. And there you find the moment you make sure, moment you verify, now my attention is within the body, whether I am standing or sitting or whatever may be, it's a great achievement, because at that moment, mind is not associated in the past, not associated in the future. Not you have so much of love to your body, no much of hate to your body, because body is your acquainted thing. And there is no lethargic kind of dissatisfaction or so much of excitement in the energy. So as far as you are associating the body, past, future, gone, here, now. And liking, disliking, gone, I am sitting. And no excitement, no lethargic sleepiness. So you can understand as a kind of a tightrope walking as far as the mind, the mindfulness or the perception is traveling with the body posture, and no so much of saddha or devotion and lack of wisdom, but no much of big of wisdom and lack of saddha, to keep the attention continuously with your body, there should have a balance between devotion and the wisdom. And there should have a balance between the energy aspect and the concentration aspect. So mindfulness must be intact. So whenever these faculties come to an equilibrium, you feel there is a kind of equilibrium, and it is depending basically not the eye and the visual object, not the ear and the sound, not the smell and the nose, not the tongue and the taste, not the luxuries in the body, but mere awareness give kind of a equilibrium, balance, that is called Rupaloka. Your whole attention, whole mindfulness is in materiality, and you sure it is not thread passing, it is within the materiality. It may be for elements, individually, or your body. Whenever this happens, it is called jhanic experience. It is called the concentration, kind of a concentration. Now you get kind of a thrills and frills, but it is not depending on materiality. It is not on visual objects, sounds, smell, taste, or touch. And you feel kind of a rapture. You feel kind of a happiness. You feel kind of a confidence that I can keep the attention with, keep the mindfulness with, keep the perception limited to the body. And when that happens, as I explained towards the end of the yesterday's discussion, mind is always with, it knows where to go, where to dwell upon, or where to apply thought and where to discursive thoughts, and mind is contented with. Whenever it goes there, it knows where to come back and take refuge, that's body. And when this is happening, you can understand so much of materialistic pleasure you enjoyed now being replaced by immaterial kind of pleasure. Amisha sukha now is being replaced by niramisha sukha, and your mentality or mindfulness or perception is limited to your body, and you can maintain it. The minimum they say is, according to the jhanic experience, 45 minutes. Average is 1.5 hours. If you are full-fledged, powerful mindfulness together with concentration, you can go for 3 hours. Mind is here. So this is a kind of a replacement from the body, the gross body. Now it has become somewhat manomaya. You are little bit away from your senses now. You are not using your eye, nose, tongue, but you feel you are not completely given up the body. You feel another layer, astral body, that is what now recently it has come into being. You feel it, and there is an equilibrium. Now, the gross body is replaced by this astral body. The gross materiality, materialistic pleasure is replaced by immaterial pleasure. The pleasure related to senses is now get a little distance. You are not entertaining sounds and the ear and the visual objects and the eye, but you are entertaining only here, now I am. So this is a kind of a evolution. It's a kind of upliftment whereby you are exclusively understanding some of the human characteristic which is not common with animals, not common with devas, common with the Brahma. Only the human can go there. And the materialistic pleasure, utterly you can see, animals can do. So therefore this is a kind of a Uttari Manusya Dhamma, the higher order human behavior. So in some other terminology, it is being called as jhanic experience. So you can experience few minutes or few hours or few seconds or few cycles of in-breath and out-breath, few cycles of rising and falling if this is your object of meditation, or steps like. So whenever it is happening, as I try to mention, your varietal entertainment of kama tanha will be replaced by ekaggata. You know where your mind is. It is quite limited place, and repetitively mind is applying again and again. Partly it is your volitional applying thoughts. As far as this mind is repetitively applied to the same thing, there cannot be kama tanha or multivarious visual objects and sounds and the smells and the taste and the touch. So therefore, kama tanha, kama chanda will be replaced by ekaggata. And then the rapture, the gladness arises, it will answer your hatred you entertain throughout your life. We are ever searching knowledge. We are ever searching materiality. We are ever searching luxury. But you find now that be here and now give us such a contentment. Without visual object and sounds and taste and smell and touch, you are contented. So that gladness, say, when and where you are fighting for visual object, the sounds, smell, taste and touch, rivalry is there. You have to be one-upmanship. You have to go exploit others. But here, it's a walkover. There's no one to fight. It's completely new. So therefore, kind of a rapture arises. You see, the hatred is related to your senses. It is related to the materiality. When you come there, you can have kind of a peace. Oh, here it is being recognized as a gladness or the rapture. It happened. And the sleepiness can come in because now you are with the narrow range of the entertainment. So sleepiness can set in. It will be answered your repetitive application or applying thoughts. You understand in-breath, out-breath, in-breath, out-breath like you note. Or you may noting, rising, falling, rising, falling. Or when you are walking, you may note left leg, right leg, whatever may be. That applying thought is slow releasing energy. The slimy nature never can set in. So you have to understand to note it when and where necessary. Otherwise this narrow-minded, limited to body can lead to monotony, can lead to slimy nature, can lead to sloth and torpor. The answer is vitakka. And the uddata kukucca, that past and the present, the past regret and the future excitement will be answered by the sukha. You find each and every breath is sukha. Beautiful breathing. Only the breath brings every happiness. So therefore, there won't be any regret about the past or future excitement. And vicikiccha, the doubt, will be answered by the discursive thought, vichara. You know this is something you earn. It is not a mistake. It is not an accident. You know this is because the mind is lack of kama tanha, so now you are in a defilement but less defilements. Compared with the endless defilements, now you know you are in defilement, but vichara, the inquiring mind indicates, is better than your day-to-day life. So this is how the jhanic aspects, jhanic factors we call, come into, and the 4-5 hindrances done away with. This may be happening in you, but you may not be recognize it. That's a separate issue, because you are not learned. Your knowledge is not enough. But you may feel sometimes. So therefore listening is important while you are practicing. Even if the mind goes to that kind of a state, or if it is stay for longer time, of course longer time is better for you to understand. But sometimes it's going and coming. When it's happening, you must have listening, or theoretical knowledge, or book knowledge. And you must try to express it to someone in terms of a discussion. Then other person can help you guide you, okay, this is the kama tanha, this is the jhanic pleasure, or do away with this kama tanha, facilitate it. These are the signs. This is the way it happens. So therefore, according to your explanation, this is what happened, promote it. So likewise, you get kind of a rest house on your long journey. You can take a little rest, taking care of out your body, and here now I am. It's a fairly good resting place, but you are only halfway. You are not in your destiny. And that understanding was there before the Buddha. And the recluse and the sramanas and ajivakas, they went into that, and there were some knowledge, and that is how the Buddha to be went to the Alarkalama and Uddhakaramaputra. They taught this, the young wayfarer. And there they found, being in this jhanic kind of a state, if you are going to think about your daughter or son or brother or father or life or land or whatever thing, that very thought will deprive you from this state. Yena yene manyati tatotang hoti anyata. So therefore, they come and test you, they come and block you, they come and disturb you. Always think about the past, or parents, or relatives, or dear and near one. Whenever you give thoughts, destroy it. So you have to secure it. Securing not that Nibbana, that is not the end of the journey, but you have to understand, to secure, you may use vitakka vichara, repetitive application. Occasionally mind jump out of. And again you have to bring it. And when it is happening, you find you don't know where to apply the vitakka and where to not to apply vitakka. How much it is utility, how much you use it in the mechanical way. So in the first jhana, you are using this vitakka, that means repetitive application or applying thoughts, but it's a little distraction for your total jhanic pleasure. So later you find that vitakka, the applying thought, sometimes become kama vitakka, sometimes become the Nissarana vitakka. When the concentration power reduces, the applying thought, that itself is leading sometimes to your past or dear and near one, sometimes leading to the jhana, it become not listening like, not under control like. So when that happens only, you take a decision, develop the second jhana, where there is no vitakka, can I maintain this equilibrium without noting? So that jhana, the samatha section, it says, the first jhana, you have all the vitakka, vichara, piti, sukha, ekaggata. But the moment you understand the naughty nature, the distracting nature, infiltrating nature of the vitakka, vichara, if the concentration is good, you can go for maintaining this balance without noting. The same thing, Upanditas had to explain how it happened in the vipassana, how it happened in insight meditation. Whether you know it is vitakka vichara piti sukha ekaggata, whether you know it is kama chanda vyapada tina midda uddhaca kucca vicikicca, sometimes you comes to know, specifically the beginners, due to your repetitive application, sometimes your mind is face to face with the object. You can predict. Now I can go 10 risings and fallings, or 10 in-breath and out-breath, or 10 steps. And then I know it is scattering, but I can maintain 10. Like, whenever the condition happen, you can predictably, verifiably, you can be with the object. So this is a kind of assurance, mind is here and now. Mind is within the body. Even though it is not recognized as the Prathama jhana or the first jhana, these are the qualities. So it's a something you earn. It is something you have to maintain it, and it is, if you get in a encouraging way, next time you may go for, instead of 10 cycles of breath, I can go for 11 cycles or 11 steps, like you can increase. When you are increasing, all that rapture, all this contentment, all that your positive thinking develops. And that is, who Pandita Sayadaw put it in this very life, Vipassana jhana. Exactly functionally the same. It is not Samatha jhana, it's a Vipassana jhana, but you feel, now you are within a range, within your body, within your breath, within your rising and falling. When you are walking, you know fairly you with the left leg and the right leg. And when it is happening, more and more you do regular practice, you can understand as a gift or as an endowment, you can have the same effect without noting. That we call effortless. Effortless you can walk without noting. Effortless you can keep the noting mind with the in-breath and out-breath without noting as such. Or you may keep it with the rising and falling without noting as such. So it's an improvement. So therefore, how far as a beginner, make use this tool of noting, and when the time mature, how much that particular yogi can understand, now I can go without noting. That part very difficult to teach, very difficult to demonstrate. Only you have to say, you have to trust your mindfulness, keep on noting, and occasionally do without noting. Let it happen. So that means you believe your past mistakes, you believe your early mindfulness, and then you see, occasionally you can go without noting, or effortlessly, that is the term we are using, and that is very strong in walking meditation. You can do walking, and without much of noting, left leg, right leg, lifting, moving, dropping, so that part is gone. It's naturally happening. You feel the whole function of walking happens, and you can get aside, and you can observe as if you are observing yourself. And the breathing also effortlessly happening. Without noting, you can keep. So that your gladness increases. You learn how to do it without commanding, without regimenting. And the very good example Buddha explained, not exactly parallel, but I hope you can get the idea. The Buddha says, when a herd of cow controlled by a cowboy, he lead the cows to the forest. At the edge of the village, I am talking about the Indian village in the olden tradition, and at the village you have paddy fields and other crops, and at the edge of the village, the cows can go there, and they are the barren land, and no much of lush, no much of greenery, but in the paddy field it's very green. So cows are always try to get into the paddy field instead going into the forest. So the cowboy has to maintain, because otherwise he is in trouble. The farmers will come and hit him. So always he is taking an eye, keep an eye. Cows are pushed to the forest, not to the paddy field. And therefore the cowboy has to always keep an eye. Then the Buddha is asking, imagine the farmer came and harvested the crop. Now the field is open. Now the cowboy can let the cows to eat either in the forest, at the edge of the village, or in the paddy field, because the farmer has already harvested. At that time, he will go into a shade and play a flute and wait. Cows will go everywhere. So not chasing behind the cows. So whenever the mindfulness become mature, you feel occasionally, without noting you can do. Their frills and thrills are increasing. Because you are a radical person. You have put every your effort into test. Not traditionally keep on noting. Then you become naughty. too much of noting. Because you don't believe the development of the mindfulness. You don't believe how to make use of the advantage of the surroundings. Whenever time permits, let loose. That's a kind of a radical way. But if you are let loosing when the farmer is not harvested, then you have to get the punishment. If the farmers are not harvested and still if you are going to let loose, that is too much. You have to understand it. That is how the first jhana to second jhana example we can give. Now I am not going to give you jhanas. Don't go home and say, I got the second jhana this time, last time I got the first jhana. Please, don't misunderstand me. Don't assume. And then after a while you see that your rapture your hilarious feeling itself is becoming a problem. So you understand that also will be a burden. And because this is on the final destiny, just like noting mind, you are not carried away, taken for a ride by just rapture. You keep the rapture aside as a conducive factor, but don't entertain it. Instead, go forward, try to maintain the breath. Try to maintain, if you are taking the rising and falling. Try to maintain the left leg and right leg. When you are continuing, you, as far as the mindfulness on breath is concerned, then only you are going to experience the subtle part of the breath. The beginning of the breath at the end of the breath. There the Buddha says, Santocheva panitocha sukocha viharocha. Very just starting breath you can touch. And the disappearing part of the in-breath you can find. The appearing part of the out-breath you can find. The disappearing part of the out-breath, it's so smooth. Whenever the dust gone, whenever the mind settle, still you find you have not seen the breath. You have seen only the tip of the iceberg. Now you have to see the bell-shaped curve, the spreading two parts, is so subtle. And you are not now worried about the nivaranas. It has done with. You are not much worried about the catching the breath. It is already achieved. You are not worried about the understand the middle part of the breath. Now your aim is with the help of all these skills, you try to see the just appearing breath and disappearing breath. Maybe in breath, maybe out breath. So when it is happening, your mindfulness becomes so sharp, and sharpening happens, and you see no end. Day by day you can refine, but not in all the sittings. Not in all, as and when you wish. You must be opportunist. Whenever it happens, go there, then the sukha. Sukha means that understanding the very subtle, beautiful breathing, and you see it is nourishing you mentally and physically. It is not like eating something or not like seeing a nice picture. But within the breath, you have so subtle thing, and it is almost parallel with the third jhana. And you can see you are deep down, you are making a tunnel from your normal consciousness to subconscious. Normal consciousness to subconscious. So whenever it goes to the unperceivable level, you know this is what you call subconscious. And occasionally you come to the conscious level that you can perceive. Now you understand perceivable and unperceivable at the beginning of the in-breath, at the end of the in-breath, beginning of the out-breath, end of the out-breath. And that area you can see how much other variables must be fixed so you to have this chance and go deep layers. If the other variables are changing, you can't go into that. So whatever you have earned, whatever you have gained must be fixed. That is what you call mastering. And not only stopping there, go still further nearing the breath. Immediately, vigilantly, diligently, and go into there, you see the perception, the feeling, the beginning of the in-breath and out-breath, the gross mind easily give up. But when the mind becomes subtle, when the mindfulness becomes subtle, the earlier unperceivable things appear more amplified, more prominent. When the breath becomes so very close friend, the arising of the breath, changing of the breath and the disappearing of the breath. When you're observing, your alignment or synchronizing as well as the tuning happens in such a way, the mindfulness becomes sharper and sharper. Every tiny little thing becomes amplified like. This is called thin slicing of time. You are not looking the whole breath as one series. Breath is 1001 little breaths. Cumulative effect of the little breath. The breath never happen as a one thing. It's a series of actions. You cut each and every part and imagine if you have to see the beginning, the middle and the end of the each and every tiny breath. Not the whole breath. Whole breath is now become a tiny particles, and each and every one has a beginning, the middle and the end. So you go deep and deep into Vibhajyavado, analytical way, no end. So even outside the mosquito come and bite you, you have no mind to go there and complain, because your mind is so engaged here. And the time passing, you don't know how much time you sit. And the benumbed leg becomes benumbed and then it is dissolved by itself, still you are meditating. Because you are so magnetized. You go deep into, you plunge into that. So then onward, it is not you. It is the moment of meditation. But you are facilitating, you are supporting, giving the conducive conditions. It's a complete new thing because you have never done this kind of a thing in your life. So you have to listen. What you have to do is please do nothing. Do nothing. Just wait. That is the only thing you can't do. Your ego never happy. It is coming out with this, that opinion, that project, this project, and you will be carried out. Not a single person can go directly with this least frictional path. All time you go other direction and again go next to the other side and coming back. So you have to develop your own ways and means how to maintain the mind with this supreme immaterial pleasure. But mind come out with this and that. So when it is happening, what very strange things are happening, the difference between in-breath and out-breath disappears. You know you are breathing. You know the occasional breath coming and going. Even this subtle breath is enough for you to take it as an object, and you are observing the disappearing part of it, the waning part, the tear and wear side of the breath. To give an example by the commentators, they say, when you are gong a bell and see the wave is disappearing and merge into the other sounds, soon you hit pitch is very high and then flat off. And imagine you are listening to the tail end of the disappearing sound. And that is exactly the same. Now you are observing the tail end of each and every in-breath and out-breath. Meanwhile, the total breathing process start to calm down. That means you are ready to say goodbye to the materialistic world. You are about to emerge into the non-material sphere. And that is another threshold, another test. So occasionally you find you are concentrated, you are mindful, but on what object you don't know. But your attentivity, attention, your awareness and the alignment is there. And occasionally again the breath happens, maybe a sound, maybe a thought, maybe a pain. And then you can understand, before this pain, thought, sounds or the breath happened, I do not know. I was in a speed and not touching. Just like an aeroplane is about to take off from the runway and you see occasionally on the ground, occasionally on the air. So you feel, and that is kind of a very critical place. That is why the captain says, even the staff has to go their seat and put the tighten belt and give the support, because now the plane on the earth is going to take aerodynamics. So likewise, now you are about to leave the materiality. Occasionally you thud, occasionally you feel the breath and know there. Sometimes it is not there, and ultimately you become airborne. And whenever airborne happen, if you are a person of a lover of the materiality, you feel chills, you feel cold sweating, you feel nauseatic, you feel vomitish, you start moving like that because you have so much of a desire for the materiality. When the meditation goes, slowly, now you are going from manomaya attabhava to arupi attabhava, and when it's going there, not like you give a donation to someone, not like you give up everything and come and hear. Now you are about to give your body, about to give you a material object that you taken as a pivotal point, object that you have taken as a benchmark, object that you have taken as object of meditation. Now it's about to go. So when that happens, how can you facilitate it? What is your responsibility? How much you must go prepared? How much you should have theoretical understanding? How much you should have past experience? We are completely, two people means two different worlds. Not that it is rare occasion. It's a very, very familiar occasion. But the thing is, you have a fear. If you love materiality, you fear immaterial. If you are a love of immaterial, you hate materiality. So when and where the disappearance of the primary object happens, sometimes you feel like take a long breath and come back to your body, thinking as if you are outcasted, thinking as if you have lost your the identity. And you feel, you are shocked. You feel like someone come and hit upon you, or like a thundering shock. And again you come back to the breath. And if you keep on practicing, the subtle breath appeared as your primary object, and again it disappears, you merge into unknown area. Again the coming into the known area appear like a shock. So when it is happening, imagine if you go to a psychiatric and ask what is happening, what will be the answer of the psychiatric? Bloody fellow never meditate. They never think about the Kamaloka. Their utter life is in Kamaloka. And they have never heard about Rupaloka. And Rupaloka to Arupaloka, when it happens, what they do is, they reinstall your ego and ask, go home, do as much as possible defilements, then you feel healthy. Have the luxury. Have everything, so you are normal. Instead to tell the correct, healthy instructions, you have to understand psychotherapy without the self. Can you imagine it? Psychotherapy without the self. The Mark Epstein wrote a book on this, psychotherapy without the self, because he has done a lot of mindfulness meditation and then learned Western psychology. And he is writing how it will be if the psychiatrists know about non-self. What will be the guideline? And imagine a person come and say, when I am meditating, I feel everything calm down, and ask your opinion. What will you say? What would? You say, you will say, have a Bodhi Puja and go around the Bodhi tree and pour some water and have some piritnul and do some chanting, do something wrong. Something losing. So this is the mad world. So in this world, Buddha has written completely. Whole map is there. And he says the Kama Loka is a very gross. And now you come to the Rupa Loka, or Bhavaraga, Kama Raga, Bhavaraga, and that also you can go to the other side. When you are going so much so you have a love for your primary object, now so much so it is gone. No problem. But still the mindfulness intact. But still the confidence intact. Still the faith intact. Still your precepts intact. So who is to take care? Even the object disappears, I am still devoted. Still my precepts are intact. Still the mindfulness is intact. That is also another kind of a healthy ego. I have to understand, early my ego, my faith was on the luxury. Now it is no more. For the last few minutes maybe, faith is my primary object. Now if your continuity is there of intuition, if you understand it, now you can say, even without the Kama Loka, even without the Rupa Loka, there's another layer. Still you can be devoted, still you can be with precepts, still you can have mindfulness. And that mindfulness, can we teach in the classrooms? Can we teach in the PhD scholar, the syllabus in the university? And can someone highlight, this is the way you get rid of the big ego by make use of the subtle ego. You replace that subtle ego with the subtlest ego, likewise it is going there. So when it is that these 4 stages, soon after you lose the primary object, that is called the 4th jhana. At the 4th jhana level, even the commentators accept. You are utterly in the breath, but you can't perceive. But you have no doubt. You are just like the plane is now taken airborne, and the captain is sure. Now it is 100 meters above. So if he wish, he can put into autopiloting. And imagine when Oval Wright and Wilbur Wright is learning the aeroplane, now 212 years old, I think. And Katakurunta Jnananda says, now only we know they are right. Till that people told they are mad. They are thinking about flying with iron on air. Never, no one thought even. Iron horse flying. Now without a flight, without a plane, how can Dhammajiva Hamdru go to America? It's an essential part. Likewise, the day you understand, you can go on the ground, and you can be airborne, and you can be go beyond this gravity level, and go to the spacecraft. And there are no earth, no aerodynamics, and it just go beyond the capacity, beyond the gravitational force also. So like when it is happening, not that these events, not that these experiences, not that these episodes are lacking in our life, but we do not know how to facilitate it, we consider it as a threat. It is called neophobia or fear of freedom. We have so much of attachment to your near and dear ones. That is why the Kama Tanha. And when and where you leave it aside and come and gain a little bit of meditative experience, then you cry, yesterday my meditation was good and today is not good. Yesterday was not good, today good, therefore Dhammajiva Hamdru is good. This is the bullshit. And one day you have to understand that also you have to give up. And if you have so much of attachment for the concentration, if you have so much of attachment to the mindfulness, that itself will become a hindrance in time to come. And there you have to understand these things are tools. Just like a vitakka vichara, you applying thoughts is there, and use it for utility value. When it is beyond, you must verily give it up. And when the object is there, you use it, you ride it. And once that function is finished, you drop it. And then you are going to go to the immaterial sphere. And it is been explained, akasananchayatana. Akasananchayatana is that you are depending on no materiality, no pataviyapo tejo vayo. But still you can say, no breath. But still you know, your mindfulness is intact. And then, very subtle area, the vijnana chayatana, the vijnana always make have and have not differentiation. Have the object or not have object. That means here the object is materiality. Vijnana says now you can't meditate because object gone. So therefore stop it. Take a fast breath and touch your body and see whether all the parts are intact. Because few days time you have to go back home. If the parts are not there, how can you go home? So mind is very distractive because it is developing the scion between have and have not. But when you are mastering materiality, you become qualified to learn the feelings, immaterial part, perception, volitional part. And that is not allowed by the consciousness, it is making fuss, telling your materiality go on, please take something, do something like. So that is how whenever this materiality about to leave, you feel nauseatic, you feel vomitish, your body is beyond your control, and everything is something happening, not what you expect. So there are vijnana coming and make so much of fuss. That means you are not ready to give up the body, ready to give up the materiality. Imagine one day with so much of faith, so much contentment on your precepts, and so much trust upon your mindfulness, you go beyond and you find still there are some feelings are there. There are some perceptions are there. And you feel like doing something, volitional activities are there. You never feel like doing nothing. As far as ego is there, as far as the conceit is there, as far as the tanna is there, you feel like doing something. That's the volitional aspect. So the day you decided, no, I am not hedonically getting connected, feelings and good or bad feeling. I am not worried about the perceptions. Sometimes you feel blank space. Complete, you don't know what is happening. And appear like you are about to go mad, insane, or dementia. So all people, they are so worried because they know why to 55 you have to be ready for dementia, or Alzheimer, or kind of a giddiness. Because at the 55 you understand that you are dying disease. What is the root cause for your death? So whenever such a thing happens, they go to the astrologers and go to the psychiatrists, go to the doctors and do full the bodily checking, and the bloody fellows are waiting for you till you come to the queue. You have so much of equipments, so much of specialists. They bloody, each and every specialist is dying. They themselves, if it is expert, they must not die. They are also with so much of problems. I say doctors have no rights to be fallen into sick. The way they behave. No, Bhante, we are also human, so what to do? But when you are prescribing others, you appear like from the Angaharu Loke, over the Saturn, I prescribe this is what and kind of thing. So the Buddha is asking, where you go and depend? They don't know psychotherapy without the self. So you are the person, make them valid, make them necessary due to your fear, due to your uncertainty. You have no faith. I am not telling give the everything and only the faith. I am telling, please day by day, trust upon Dhamma, trust upon your mindfulness. Trust upon your faith, your internal the values, rather than these professionals. They are mercenaries. Nothing but mercenaries, because do you think even split second they are working for your well-being? If it is so, they must work without money. Even a serious person, go and ask, this person is serious, would you mind to get enrolled? No. 500,000 you have to pay first, then only my compassion come out. I am experiencing even though I don't have children. They come and say, one day serious situation is such, and they are asking 500,000, so where to find? And they ask, you are the person diagnosed and patient is in serious, can you? No, that is our etiquettes. First pay the enroll fees, and then only we are going to take the patient. Everyone. So that is the point where when the vijnana come into being, it never allows you to be at peace when the materiality ceases to exist. That is materiality. And if you let the materiality disappear, then you see feeling, perception, volitional games. Each and every person belong to either this feeling character, the hedonic. They are the people full of feelings. And the perception, sanya, they are expert in media, advertising. And the other people, the volitional, they are creative. They are always very, very creative. So we fall into one or the other, as far as the mentality is concerned. So once you done away and let the mind to play, when the mind to complain, let the mind to run everywhere, then you can understand where my complaints, basically on feelings, or on perception, or volitional. So you are the only person can make diagnosis. So when and where the object disappears, you become tension. You become tense. You become nauseatic. You become allergic like, and let it happen and see what kind of uncertainty you have, or feeling sense, or you cut off from the perception, or you are the creative, do this and that and different opinions. So that is the way the vijnana never allows for you to understand your vedana sanya, the mental manifestations, because it is covered with the kama tanha and the bhava tanha, and when that is removed, vijnana make you insecure, feel like you lost, feel like you are in unknown area. So therefore vijnana says, known devil is better than unknown, please go back home. Please come back to your known area. So you take refuge of what you know. And the Buddha have a fair doubt. He says, what you know may not be with Nibbana. What you do not know may with Nibbana. So that is the radical reflection. As far as you know in your known sphere, it is deprived of Nibbana. Whenever you are ready to go, radical reflection in new areas, that is why the faith is very important. That is why the precepts are very important. That is why the mindfulness is very important. But this mindfulness, what we are now talking, is not the bare attention. It's a full-fledged momentum of the mindfulness, and don't let the vijnana to come and take upper hand, come out with this opinion and that opinion. You let the vijnana to suggest, but don't second it. It is giving one after the other. Today one set, tomorrow another set, different way, come in a defense way. It says, I have to take care about you. Now you see, now body is also not there, so feelings are coming, all the kinds of, what can I do? I say, okay, you come and propose, suggest. Moment you second it, you get committed. It becomes karmic forces. As far as you can stop at suggestion level, ditthe ditthamattam bhavisati, see, stop at seeing. Don't ruminate it. Here, just stop at that level. Don't go storytelling. When you smell, taste and touch happen, don't interpret it. There the Buddha says, the clear ground, he says, ditte dittamattam bhavisati muti mutamattam bhavisati viññāte viññāte sute sutamattam bhavisati viññāte viññātamattam bhavisati. Your egotistic idea is the one make fabrication and storytelling. That storytelling ultimately taken you for a ride, just like a flood. And one day you will see Vijnana come and do that suggestion, this suggestion, opinion. You just behave like a dumb. You just behave like a blind. You just behave like a person back pain. Nothing you can do. And there you can see endless tricks Vijnana is playing, and that the area Vijnana and Chayatana you can understand, you never let it happen. And once that is tackled, to make the long story short, then even thing happen, it become nothing. Even the sound happen, it disappears and replaced by the sound, visual object, that sound gone forever. And visual thing happen, and it later replaced by the sound, that no more visual things gone. Ultimately, akinchanyayatana, nothing. Things are there, but they are no value. Tucchato, ritato, sunyato, parato, anattato. Everything is vacuum, lacunae, nothing. It is belong to someone. It's not me. It's not mine. It's not myself. So if that particular knowledge is coming and backing you, you are always carried out by the Vijnana. The Buddha says Vijnana is like a magician. The person showing magic in the crossroad. And no, create this and that. So therefore there's a one sect, Viññati Matrata Siddhi, or Yogachara, they says whole world is nothing but a projection of your Vijnana. Nothing but your projection of your Vijnana. So it is called Viññati Matrata Siddhi, and Viññati, ultimately its name mixed up. Vijnana Matrata Siddhi, it is wrong, it must be Viññati. The mind come and give so much of opinions. Whenever you are nearing the Nibbana, we are nearing the end of the materiality or end of the Bhavatanha, the Vibhavatanha is nothing but a perversion. Vijnana come and give one after the other opinion. So you have to understand and let the suggestion come, don't second it. So they are Sabbha Papassa Karana. First, do no harm. Now you have already earned some kind of a clarity, some kind of a purity, and the Vijnana as a friend, or your legal advisor, come and give this proposal and that proposal, sometimes free of charge. Moment you second it, trapped. So how long you can keep that? And there you understand when you are passing that, the suggestion also just a perception. Whatever the thing is perception, the perceptions are coming and going. The neva sanya na sanya. So you see, you are in a half dream. You don't know whether it is a visual object or mind, the real object or mind-made visual object. Or it's you don't know whether it's real, you are hearing a sound of wave, or your mind-made one. And the feeling, the animal crawling, sweating, heat bubbles, hot, cold bubble, everything happening. You don't know it is something you do or it is something you happen. So everything, passive voice and active voice, utterly get mixed up. Whether you are living or whether you are dreaming, utterly get mixed up. All the dreams become very lucid. All the day-to-day activities appear like a volatile. So easily you can go mad. You're already mad. Already mad. But you now see the mechanism, how you make something out of nothing. And when that happens, when the sometimes perception happens and it disappears without a trace. And you feel like writing and make a poem or tell something, and then you get carried away. And instead if you let other perception to come, and go there, and you see Mano Pubbangama Dhamma, Mano Settha, Mano Maya. Everything is mind-made. The mind is the forerunner, and it's mind. Not before. At that level you can understand the very first two verses in the Dhammapada. Mano Pubbangama, mind is the leading. Mano Settha, mind is the important thing. Mano Maya, it is nothing but mental, mind-made. And if you are going to tell this to a Michael Jackson or Barack Obama, then you are in trouble. Definitely. They are the rulers of this Kamaloka. They are not happy. But you bloody fools going to teach Barack Obama or Michael Jackson, luckily Michael Jackson gone. Then you are in trouble. You have to talk with the people, those who know about it, at least appreciate it. Nothing on this earth, everyone is appreciating karma. Everyone is appreciating bhava. But if you really search for a person on the disappearing part, only the wear and tear, only the cessation part, easily you will see, if you follow it, you will be outcasted. This world have no place for you. If you are creative, if you are making, if you see the rising part, you will get the Nobel Prize, Magsaysay Prize, and that prize and this prize. Everyone will support. But if you have to see the cessation part, it's also not happening overnight. It is also not happening with one episode, number of episodes, but maybe number of, if you have the quick wit, even with the first episode, you can understand the message of the Buddha. If it is not so, you have to let it happen again and again, and repetitively, same thing happen with respect to different dimension, with the materiality first, and then feeling versus, feeling-wise, and then perception-wise, and last you may see your volitional-wise. Whatever you do is creating karmic forces. So how little, how slight time you have doing nothing. And the world will say, you are a useless bugger. The world wants to something, some creating, and they will give all the credit. But the Buddha, he says, I can live 7 days without doing anything. So this is the way when you go to towards the end of the, not on the materiality, even the mentality, it's also the same fate, entertain the disappearing part. And that is come under the vibhavatanna, so you hate people accumulating, you hate people creative, you hate people think about the progress, because you think now you only think about the cessation, so there are also another problem. When you go home, all the others are something to earn and all the kind of thinking. You feel like you are in the odd place. So I will talk about tomorrow, how to tackle that question. So far, try to keep, as you are in the retreat, the cessation. I hope your roommate or other bedmate will not make trouble, because we are listening to the same talk. And therefore, if you have any trouble, don't trouble others, and wait, and we will see in future how can we make use the same tools in order to go beyond it. It is without a background very difficult to explain. Even with the background, whether I can express it and whether I am talking exactly the same or whether you understand is a completely new thing. But anyway, this is the end of the day's talk. Thank you very much for listening. May you all be healthy, wealthy and happy.